Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman.
Hello friends, welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swears it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up today. We've got our good friend user Ethan Ralph is Fat returning with what looks to be a new saga. And I know I said I was trying to shut some of them sagas down, but I mean, I can't pass up Arif stuff. Come on. We'll get some one-offs to you in the coming day or so. But yes, this is the Witchling, episode 1, Enter the Witchling. And what a great name, you know? It's just a tiny witch. It's a witchling. Like goblins if they could learn spellcraft. I mean, some goblins can't learn spellcraft, but oh my god, I'm a nerd. Okay. I, Ethan Ralph is Fat, have returned to regale you with a tale that I kind of don't want to tell. Come on, tell it. Why do I not want to tell it? Well, long story short, we're going to be covering about 10 years of history with a particularly odd individual, an individual who had a profound influence on my life, an individual that we will call the Witchling. It's always so excited when you get into a new saga. You don't know if she's going to be psychotic and evil or like derpy and fun. Most of the Legbeards we get are psychotic and evil, honestly, but I'm ready for a change of pace. With that painfully brief introduction out of the way, allow me to rip off the band-aid and just dive in. Our story begins with a young me, age 17, in my junior year of high school. A time that was awkward for me, as it is often awkward for many. Most, even. A time where my identity as an individual had yet to truly solidify into the Arif that you may know now. Oh, so maybe the Witchling's like kind of cool, because Arif's kind of cool, you know? It just like rubbed off on you or something? You see, the brain of a 17-year-old is squishy and subject to poorly thought out impulses and outside influence. I mean, the only real solution for that? Leeches! Bring me leeches! My outside influence for a time was my wrestling coaches, until I had run afoul of the Witchling, who would influence me in different ways. So you could have been like a sports jock, bro, but the Witchling turned you into the goth femboy that we all know and love. Those are his words, not mine. Except the know and love part. That's my words. Anyways, focus up. You see, the young Arif was very different. I was quieter and kept to myself, rarely coming out of my shell, and spending my lunches as a library aide to avoid social interactions with the cavalcade of people who wanted to fight me. Turns out, if you fight back against the people who bully you, that somehow encourages their friends, or bigger bullies, to decide that they want to take a shot at you, and I could not afford to get any more suspensions. Yeah, I guess the caveat to that is like, if you fight back, be around their size. Because they see a little dude like whooping the crap out of their friend and they're like, I want next. I don't understand how that could happen. Oh, but you shall learn through pain. He's on the wrestling team, for God's sake. Leave him alone. Anyways, Arif continues, I had secluded myself to the library where I would help the aging librarians understand computers and read when time permitted. What good is a librarian that can't read? No, he probably meant that he was reading. I'm really just like in a weird mood today, I guess. Another library aide was the Witchling, a rather petite ginger in the most popular goth gear of the mid-2000s. She, unlike myself, was rather outspoken and spoke of things both esoteric and conspiratorial. Yeah, we'd probably get along. We'd not spoken much in our time as library aides, as she was often distracted with beleaguering the sanity of anyone who would listen to her data dump the latest information that she had acquired from dubious sources. Tumblr, maybe, probably. That was until the day when our worlds collided. Now this is what it's like when worlds collide! Before we proceed, however, allow me to introduce our cast list. OP, hey, that's me, everyone's friend, Ethan Ralph is Fat. We call him Eric for short. During high school, it could be said that I had very little identity to speak of. Despite my fondness for wrestling, reading, and my girlfriend at the time, my personality was about as unremarkable as you could imagine. I mean, that's cool, you just didn't find the thing that you wanted to pretend to be. Some people never do, especially in high school. The Witchling, W for short, is a girl who got held back a year. Despite her self-described high IQ, she's a ginger who dresses exactly as you would expect if you slammed the ideas of a goth and a hippie together. That's weird. It's somewhat diametrically opposed ideologies in more ways than one. But okay, I guess we'll see which way she leans, really. She is proud, endlessly talkative, and drawing confidence from absolutely nowhere. Tumblr. Probably. Other characters, well, this first part will focus on my introduction to the Witchling, but other characters might be mentioned. They are either incidental or not needing a proper introduction. That's right, we'll pick up context clues. We can do it, gang! When we were first properly introduced, it was in a homeroom that we shared. I had recently gotten into a fight with a gangster wannabe who had called my sister Annie a whore. And I also happened to share this homeroom with said wannabe's girlfriend. She'd been pestering me for some time after having not fought fair against her boyfriend, and she would constantly openly challenge me in this homeroom. I'm not gonna fight a girl. Sit down. A task made easier by the fact that our homeroom teacher did nothing more than tell us to do our homework and then fall asleep. I'm still trying to wake up. Drink my coffee, just leave me alone. Looking back on it, I kind of wonder if he was narcoleptic, but I digress. Yeah, coffee doesn't help that. This particular girlfriend was going pretty hard today, eventually escalating to throwing a book at my head while I continued to ignore her. Oh, we want to throw books, do we? I don't know, man. Adrenaline flew as the object cracked into my head, proving once and for all that words can hurt. They just have to be in a textbook form. Beautiful. I contemplated my next move, but before I could react, Witchling had stood and addressed the assailant. What the fuck are you doing throwing books at people, you crazy biatch? Girl, he's a wuss! He won't fight me! Witchling, bitch, how about I fight you? Wow, this is a fortunate turn of events. She said this climbing over the desk to get into that girl's face. The girl now seemed to be backing down, for some reason, clearly less motivated to engage in violence. Yeah, when she knows somebody's gonna hit her back. My, how the turntables. Witchling, what? You don't wanna fight now? The girl remained silent. Witchling, that's what I thought, bitch. Such a great word. It's got such a pop to it, you know? The perfect word for ending sentences. Witchling said this, returned to her seat, and looked over her shoulder to smile at me. The situation was confusing to me. First off, I had never met a girl who said bitch as much as Witchling did. For her, it was like a verbal tick. Yeah, like Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Yo, 148, 3 to the 3 to the 6 to the 9, representing the ABQ. What up, biatch?
If Breaking Bad... We're on the same page. If Breaking Bad had existed at that time, I would have thought that she was just doing the Jesse Pinkman thing, but this predates that. Yeah, Jesse Pinkman was also inspired by the Witchling. Secondly, I had known Witchling to be a loudmouth from being around her in the library, but I didn't know that she was possessed of such violent outbursts. And thirdly, why the hell did she stand up for me? Mysteries indeed, but all shall be told. Why is this woman, the Witchling, so bold? We should do like a Plague Doctor narration through the whole thing, just completely randomly. No, I'm not gonna do that. Later that day, while working in the library, I would ask that very question. I approached her, fresh off a tirade about how the government created polio to suppress the Irish population, a fact that I don't really think is true. I mean, they did a lot of similar things, but not that specifically. OP, hey, I'm OP. I just wanted to thank you for standing up for me earlier. Witchling, oh, it's no big deal. That girl's a total wuss anyway. She used to hang out with my friends, and we all eventually decided that she was a total bitch. OP, okay. That makes sense. That's why you stood up for me. Witchling, well that, and I don't like to see people getting picked on. Well, she is kind of a cool Legbeard. I like that. Not that I'm against picking on people, but you gotta pick on them for the right reasons. OP says, okay, well, again, just thank you, Witchling. Don't worry about it. She lowered her voice to a whisper. Witchling, do you smoke pot? OP, no, I never have. Witchling, do you want to smoke some pot? Ooh. This is definitely a formative moment in your life, you know? So this question, of course, piqued my interest. I was what is referred to as a latchkey kid, and as my mom would frequently accuse me of having done drugs, it was kind of just the perfect storm of peer pressure and screw you, mom mentality. OP, doesn't that stuff, like, ruin your brain? Not any more than all the other stuff that ruins your brain. It's fine. Witchling says, no, that's just what the government says to keep the population unenlightened. Oh, you're one of those potheads. Doesn't make you enlightened. It makes you think you're having better ideas than you actually do. OP, so weed makes you enlightened? Witchling, yeah, it like totally opens your mind. Humans are capable of so much more than we know. Well, yes, but no. I floundered to find a response to this line of thought, as my indulgence in the esoteric concepts of metaphysics didn't exist at this time. Witchling, how about you come with me to my friends after school and smoke a bowl with us? OP, yeah, okay, was all I managed to get out at this invitation. There was something rather beguiling about her forward nature and her seemingly endless belief in everything that she said. I was not completely mentally committed to the idea of doing drugs, but I was curious to learn more about this odd red-headed motormouth. It's not drugs, bro. It's a little bit of devil's lettuce, Cthulhu cabbage. It's good for you. Some people don't react well, but I enjoy it. At the end of the day, I was rather surprised to find her waiting at my locker. Witchling, ready to open your mind? OP, yeah, I think so. Witchling, come on, get excited. I'm like smoking you out for free. OP, I'm just nervous. I don't know what this is like. Is it like drinking? Witchling, no! Ew! Alcohol is man-made poison created to dull the mind. OP, am I gonna like hallucinate or go crazy? Witchling, wow, you really need to start smoking pot. No one should be this worried about trying pot. Do you worry about everything this much? OP, yes, all the time. Witchling, just trust me. Do I look like a bad person? What's that one meme? Punks are just nice people trying to act mean, and hippies are mean people trying to act nice. And she's a split of both. So I don't really know how to feel. She did save your bacon from that other girl. She's trying to do you a favor, but I understand being nervous about it. Do I look like a bad person? Well, OP actually ponders this question for a second. On the one hand, yeah, because you're literally doing the peer pressure thing that I heard so much about. On the other hand, you did stand up for me. And I'm not sure what it is about you, but you have caught my interest. It's kismet, bro. All of this is fated. It was written in the stars long before you were born that you would travel this path, but we had to give you the choice, or the illusion of choice. The only way to circumvent that is by slipping into a different timeline, which as far as I know, you're unable to do yet. Of course, OP said none of these things out loud, and merely responded with a resignation verbalized into the phrase, yeah, screw it. We ventured into the parking lot, and I got into her scuffed Honda Civic. We drove to one of her friends' houses, and I was instructed to follow her as we crept around to the back of the house and crawled down a tin shaft to access her friend's basement through a window at the bottom of the short shaft. All of a sudden, I'm not so encouraging about this situation, you know? You might get chopped up, put in buckets. This is pretty sus.
You sussy baka.
Like, obviously you did survive, but in the moment, you didn't know that. Anyway, OP continues, I was greeted by the acrid smell of dope smoke and the greetings of a cherubic blonde woman, a long-haired man whose curly hair obscured his face, and a man whose fingernails had been grown out and sharpened to points, all dressed very similarly to Witchling. To say that I felt out of place was an understatement. Oh, this is where the weirdos hang out. Cool, I should come down here more often. Here I was instructed to sit on the couch and wait as the curly-haired man loaded a glass device that I now know as a bowl. Strange and alien though it may be now, it will soon become a friend. Witchling says, look, it's OP's first time, so all of you try to be cool. There was some murmuring to the affirmative and some slight ribbing of me. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched the bowl be passed around and slowly approach upon me. When it reached Witchling, she showed me how to use it, and then it came to me. I paused on it for a while, weighing the implications of what I was about to do. The cherubic blonde woman exclaimed, "Stop being a wuss!" A chant that was eventually picked up by the stony individuals who were now my company. Yeah, you thought there was peer pressure before. There ain't no way out of this one now, man. Unless you just stand up, politely decline, but then you'll be a total square. You don't want to be a square, do you, man? Eventually, I did acquiesce, breathing deep the smoke, and after a few seconds, coughing out the cloud of smoke so hard that I saw spots after my coughing fit. I handed the bowl to the next person in the rotation and continued to cough. OP, it's rough. Witchling, I don't know, you get used to it. A few moments passed. OP, what am I supposed to be feeling? Witchling, you don't feel anything? OP, my throat hurts. Is that what being high is? Just throat pain? Witchling, no, you'll see. Just do some more. I've heard that sometimes it doesn't work the first time for people. Wifey, my cousin, worked on me the first time for sure. Felt my keys stabbing my leg. Like, I gotta take everything out of my pockets. Oh, I need some water. I did oblige as the pipe was passed my way again in time. This time, coughing slightly less and holding it for longer. A long time passed where I felt nothing. And after about the 5th or 6th inhalation, it hit me, quite hard. I sat back into the couch and began fixating on random spots in the room as my thoughts became disjointed and echoed loudly in my head. Everything around me faded to some degree, and after what felt like quite a long time, I started laughing hysterically. Wow, that is a fairly accurate description, the way I remember it, yes. Witchling says, what's so funny? OP, I just thought it was funny that I wasn't laughing, and now I can't stop laughing at that. I managed to get out through uncontrollable fits of laughter. One of the people around us commented, yeah, I think he's feeling it now. Though I couldn't tell you who said it. The events of the next hour are hazy at best. I remember enjoying snack foods, had a Powerade that Witchling had provided me from her backpack. I remember talking a lot and having a good time. That was until the parental units of the house arrived, and we all had to scramble out of the window and then out of the tin shaft. Dude, what a buzzkill. Heart pounding in my chest from my illegal actions, I began to climb the walls within my own head, panic thoughts that escaped my mouth as Witchling just drove us around. OP, holy shit, I think I did too much. I can't go home like this. Yeah, paranoia. It's fine, you get used to it. Witchling, sure you can, just go in your room and go to sleep. No, don't do that to him. Don't abandon the young lad. OP says, no, my mom will know. There's no way I can go home like this. Witchling, okay. Well, let's go to the hill. OP, what is the hill? Witchling, don't worry about it. It's safe. Yes. My trust has been a bit fractured, but essentially I'm a hostage in your car now, so I guess we're going to the hill. I said nothing at this. Witchling, on the other hand, decided to fill the silence with a typhoon of words that barely stuck in my newly altered brain chemistry, driving us to a remote location down a dirt road that terminated in a large hill. There we walked up to the top and sat on the grass. Oh, it's exactly what it sounded like. There was a long, interminable amount of time where I said nothing, as Witchling just continued to go on incessantly. I eventually came down enough to engage in the slapdash narrative that she was pouring forth. Witchling, and that's why gorillas are endangered, were the first words that I remember tuning back into. OP, wait, what's happening to the gorillas? Witchling, the gorillas are more advanced than humans think they are. The governments of the world are actively suppressing the gorilla population through weaponized Ebola to keep them from evolving and becoming the dominant species.
What are you talking about?
She misunderstood the phrase guerrilla warfare is where all this is coming from. OP just says, what? Witchling, the government doesn't want to be usurped by hyper-evolved gorillas, so they pay foreign governments to suppress their populations to prevent the fall of humanity. It's Planet of the Apes. OP, yeah, I don't think any of that's true. Witchling, so you're telling me that you don't believe the government suppresses threats to humanity? OP, I just don't think that gorillas are a threat to humanity. Oh, but they are. You don't believe that government propaganda about Coco, the gorilla petting the kitty, do you? She shook that kitty to death, and it's coming for us next. I'd love to just completely go along with it, but like over the top. So yes, are gorillas a threat to humanity? Well, Witchling says, wake up, bitch! The government controls everything! Haven't you heard about the Illuminati? The Freemasons? OP, I think I've heard about them. Witchling, well, there you go! They're clearing out all the monkeys that can evolve to usurp us before starting their plot for the New World Order. It's like kernels of truth in there, I guess. OP, what's the New World Order? Witchling, it's the unified global government that will be run by reptilians and suppress human consciousness. It's actually going to be a lot easier than you think. I think a lot of people are voluntarily going to join the Singularity. But not me. I won't bow to my reptilian overlords. You can take this brain out of my cold, dead body. And they probably will. I was having a lot of trouble following all this, probably due to my intoxication and partially due to the fact that it was delivered in what can best be described as sound bites that were much less popular in a pre-Alex Jones era. Make sure to buy some of my black ant powder. OP, okay, so what? Witchling, so we have to fight the power by disobeying stupid rules like not smoking weed. We have to educate ourselves on their crimes. I mean, this was mid-2000s. By this point, 2 decades later, everybody's aware of their crimes, but nobody has the ability to really do anything about it. OP says, well, I can at least agree to the smoking more weed part. Witchling, well, here, she said, handing me a small bag filled with greenish plant material. Witchling, let me know if you need more later on. Oh, she's trying to be your dealer? Is that what's going on? Is she just taking a shine to you? OP said, well, I don't have a bowl. And at this, she provided me with a small metallic one-hitter. I thanked her and placed the sundries into my pocket. She's very giving, you know? She doesn't seem all that weird. I mean, weird, but it could be a fun-loving Legbeard. I don't know. Please don't break my heart, Witchling. That's what I'll say. Witchling. So, since we're best friends now, like, give me your number. OP. Oh, we're best friends now? Witchling, yeah, you smoked weed with me. That means that we are best friends now. Yeah, I guess. You do grow a lot closer through these experiences, don't you? So yes, I acquiesce to this, and the overconfident and slightly insane ginger woman had grown on me in a short time, so I gave her my number, and she called me so that I had hers. Witchling, now we can text all the time. Uh-oh. I don't know. It's like you just subscribe to a conspiracy newsletter or something like that. OP says, sure. I wasn't 100% sure of what to make of all this. This particular day was a whirlwind, and I was so far outside my depth that I was really finding it hard to offer any resistance to Witchling's indefatigable assertions of friendship and her excessively high IQ. She then broke into a tirade about chemtrails and how they were also being used to suppress human consciousness. Yeah, that's what it's all for, man. I mean, she's young at this point. OP said it's gonna cover like a 10-year span, so I can only wonder where that will lead. OP says, I made as many mental notes as I could, given the rapidity of her pace and constant pivots in thought structure. Yeah, we don't do that. It was not unlike having my brain in a blender of ideas. There was something both admirable and off-putting about this shameless individual to me. As someone who was distinctly lacking in personality, I began to believe that maybe she knew something that I didn't. Nah, man, it's just different experiences, man. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong, man. Eventually, Witchling dropped me off at my home, and I ran into the house up to my room to hide away the pot and associated paraphernalia before coming back downstairs to greet my mother, who inquired about my whereabouts earlier, a question which I answered with a lie. I grabbed something to eat and went downstairs to begin researching some of the things that W had been preaching about. Early 2000s internet was pretty wacky. I mean, it was wacky, but in a much less fun way. Before, I was just looking for this one thing, and I could never find it. Now I look for the one thing, and I get like 1,000 things I don't want. I'm sure there was a happy medium in there, somewhere. There was at least one blog speaking along the same lines as what Witchling had told me. I began diving into a world of conspiracies and mysticism which was wholly new to me. And, in time, these thoughts would carve a curiosity into me that has, to this day, not been quenched. That's good. I think you gotta stay curious about things. That's what keeps your brain clicking along. It's also one of the reasons that I enjoy talking to Arif so much in the voice chat, in the Discord, which you should join if you haven't yet. While I did this, constant text messages bombarded my phone, as Witchling seemed to not be done berating me with her ideals. Yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. Ideals that I continued to research, taking a break to re-up my intoxication at one point under the pretense of going for a walk, coming back to increase my exploration of the weirder side of the early internet. Yeah, nobody goes to the early internet anymore. It's like catacombs. We should go walk around the shell of the website that used to be Zanga once upon a time. Or LiveJournal, or Angel Fire. Oh! I'm sure there's so much good shit posting! After not responding to text messages for about 20 minutes, Witchling decided to call me, ranting at me about how she was offended by something someone I didn't know had done to her. I listened patiently, and I tried to offer the best advice I could. This moment here, for those who know me, is probably the defining moment that turned me into a trauma dumpster. To some degree, I had always been my mother's whipping boy, so she played a part in that too. But I truly believe my acquiescence to Witchling's constant need for conversing is the more defining moment. Yeah, that peer pressure's pretty strong, isn't it? She got you wrapped around her finger. But I don't know, she doesn't seem completely evil, so I'm at a loss of what to think so far. The conversation eventually wound down onto the concept of dream mysticism and the idea that one could visit others in dreams, with her vowing to enter my dreams that night, a concept that was, somewhat disturbing. It's probably not cool. I don't even know what I'm gonna be dreaming about, please don't look. The conversation ended shortly after that, and I was left alone with the vague fear that Witchling might actually be able to make good on that dream invasion statement. I eventually laid down on the futon in the basement and caught some sleep, drained both mentally and spiritually from the weird day that I had experienced, though somewhat amused by the novelty of this new friend and the simple joys of a little green plant. Oh, amen to that, honestly. It doesn't seem like a bad ride. Definitely weird. I maybe keep an eye on her a little bit, but aside from oversharing and being slightly invasive, yeah, she seems like an alright person. Though I guess all will be unveiled in due time. And that's where we're gonna end the introduction to the Witchling. Buckle up, folks. Or fuckle up, as we said in Guitar Beard. As I said, this is a tale that spans a large section of my life. In the process, you'll get to know more about Witchling and the odd levels of degeneracy that she has sunk into in life. Oh man, I was hoping for a good outcome. But yeah, I guess 2 decades of neo-mysticism will really do a number on you, huh? For parts of the story that predate my own personal growth into an understanding individual, I will be offering limited commentary, as I feel it's better immersion into how I was feeling and thinking at the time. As we progress though, that will change. In time, you will know the true extent of Witchling, and this story will also serve to answer a lot of questions about how I became who I am. That is such a great premise for a series. Yes, feed it to me! I want more right now. Can we have more right now? It's just exciting. For those of you who made it this far, thank you, indeed. And to all who have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll address them in future updates. Until we meet again in the next post, I hope your life is free of unnecessary hardship and struggle. So did she visit you in your dreams, OP? This is definitely a strange path to go down in life, but it made you into the interesting person that you are. So I have to thank the Witchling at least a little bit. She was on to something, but sometimes the hardest advice to take is your own advice, you know? People can see the thing that you should do and you just refuse to take their advice because ego, I guess. Continue to do the wrong thing. I've seen it far too many times. I don't know if that's how it's gonna go for the Witchling. But I'm definitely hooked and would love to hear more about her and you, our good friend, Arif. I hope you guys will join me for the next installment. Should be interesting. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video around if you should like. There's many ways to support, like social medias. Yeah, I'm on a lot of those. And we're also on Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. And we got the thanks button activated. You can toss a few bucks at me as a one-off. I would thank you heartily. But the most important things, friends, is that you watched the video, especially those who watched it this far, like double plus MVP plays, you know? I hope you'll come back and see what we got cooking up for tomorrow. Keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, and always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.